Nerdrotic.com.
Kevin Feige has become Kathleen Kennedy. I said that many years ago. I said it 3 years ago, and it's true. There's a legit reason why, and yes, the message is involved, agenda is involved, but there's also a bit of Icarus, a little flying too close to the sun. A little bit of flying too close to the sun. It erupted. Marvel Insider exposes secret invasions, behind-the-scenes drama. Amidst reports of Marvel Studios off-screen drama, MCU fans are now learning what went wrong with Secret Invasion. Well, they shouldn't have made it. You're adapting a comic book that was filled with superheroes, and your first decision was, hey, let's take out all the superheroes. That's a great idea. The whole premise of Secret Invasion, the comic, was like, who do you trust? Because you don't know if your buddy was a Skrull the whole time, right? It was an all right story. It was fine. It was fine. No annihilation, that's for sure. Despite being Marvel's first crossover event series, it wasn't. Its compelling comic book inspiration and all-star cast led Samuel L. Jackson's Secret Invasion was found to be directionless, confusing, and wasteful with characters, becoming the first MCU project to receive a rotten score from both audiences and critics. Well, I will say, Chris, long overdue. There are a few MCU projects that were kept from getting, well, we're talking rotten on the critics side. Were kept from that through the army of shills. And these shills weren't paid off, directly. Right, Chris? It's worse than that. I'd understand that. I wouldn't do it, but I'd understand financial gain. No, this is just for clout. They shilled for the possibility of clout. Some of them got it, some of them didn't. Then they got mad. They'd say things like, I've been busting my ass for 5 years being a Star Wars fan. Like you're going to the fucking salt mines. And it turns out, as everything's falling apart, we're starting to see the rats flee the sinking ship, starting to turn on them. Oh, this is all stuff we predicted years ago. We're like, hey, it's going to have a good time, but then it's going to go to shit. Didn't need to go to shit. This could have gone another 10, 20 years. Easy. There's enough good stories out there to adapt. There's enough good characters to adapt that they own, they haven't done shit with. This is all on them. Despite being Marvel's first crossover event, its compelling book inspiration and an all-star cast led by Samuel L. Jackson, Secret Invasion was found to be directionless, confusing, and wasteful, with its characters becoming the first MCU project to receive a rotten score from both audiences and critics. Months after the D+ series' frustrating finale, news of what went on behind the scenes is now being revealed. Via The Hollywood Reporter, a Marvel insider explained the cause for Secret Invasion's pre-production drama. Yeah, no plan. They fired a writer after a year. They'll probably mention that. Due to the pandemic and the MCU's increasing number of D+ shows, Marvel Studios chose to bring in new blood to help with the strain, which directly affected Nick Fury's Phase 5 show. We're in Phase 5. God, it's still hard to believe we're in Phase 5. I don't know what Phase 4 was about.
We're supposed to see where everything is going in the last 2 episodes of Loki, which I have not seen. So I only know what happens on Friday or Thursday.
Dude, nobody's going to see it. Nobody. Samba TV didn't even report the numbers for the opening show. So they were bad. Didn't even bother to report it. Via The Hollywood Reporter, a Marvel insider explained the cause of Secret Invasion's production drama. Due to the pandemic and the MCU's increasing number of D+ shows, Marvel Studios chose to bring on new blood to help with the strain, which directly affected Nick Fury's Phase 5 show. For instance, writer and producer Kyle Bradstreet was replaced after working on Secret Invasion for a year, making way for the writers and directors Brian Tucker and Thomas Bezucha and Ali Salim. While the behind-the-scenes details are unclear, Secret Invasion's trouble pre-production actually crippled production in the summer of 2020 thanks to factions, power struggles, and weeks of people not getting along, and it erupted. As a result, Marvel Studios tapped Jonathan Schwartz, a member of its famous Parliament, to right the ship as Secret Invasion was about to lose some of its stars due to filming delays and scheduling conflicts. By September 22nd, Secret Invasion's team had been overhauled once its directors, Tom Bezucha, left due to prior commitments, and Marvel executive Chris Gary was reassigned, and he is reportedly out the door when his contract expires. Can fans trust Marvel Studios after Secret Invasion? No. Secret Invasion is but a symptom of a greater problem. Emilia Clarke's Drax arm is the epitome of the MCU. Like, it is the living embodiment. It is the meme that defines it. It is the dumbest effing thing. DNA passed on tattoos. DNA passed on tattoos. That's how retarded this has gotten.
Can someone please cosplay that, like, at a convention?
Somebody needs to, like, we need to find, find a short woman and put a big foam Drax arm on her. It'd be so funny.
I might do that for a cosplay.
You should. You should. So can fans trust Marvel Studios after Secret Invasion? The answer is no. When you get diminishing returns, that means you're losing the trust of the public. Because you were not authentic. You were telling authentic Marvel stories in the beginning, and you're not telling authentic Marvel stories now. You're telling agenda-based stories that were your very first concern. When you sit down, before you write a script, you get your piece of paper out, and you go, okay, we need a woman of color. That's the first thought of your mind. That's not a good story idea. It's not a good, it's just not. I don't know how you fix this, because like everything's reliant on Kevin Feige now, and he's in way over his head. Like Kathleen Kennedy, who was good at making coffee and facilitating people like Steven Spielberg, Kevin Feige was good when he had people to tell him no. And now that he doesn't have people to tell him no, he's not very good. He's bad. It's very bad. Since Endgame, things have been shit. Utter shit. And that's a long time now. We're getting into almost half a decade. But due to the pandemic challenges, coupled with introductions of MCU streaming series and Disney CEO woes, which haven't gotten any better, they've actually gotten worse, Marvel Studios' missteps were excusable for a while. However, Secret Invasion's poor quality atop Ant-Man, Antifa-Man, and the Wasp: Quantumania, and news of the Red brand's rejection of the television model for its television shows was what proved to audience that the real problem was internal. It's Kevin Feige, because they approached making their TV shows, Chris, exactly how they approached their movies. There's your biggest mistake. That's how they approached it. According to the book, according to Kevin Feige, we're going to do things different. Marvel, in a lot of ways, is behaving like Netflix, like a tech startup. Like they thought they'd reinvent the wheel in Hollywood.
Right.
And it turns out that it worked when you were making 2 or 3 movies a year. That's kind of pushing it. Worked fine. When you started making 3 TV series, 3 movies, 4 TV series, 4 movies, it all fell apart because Kevin Feige was running such a tight ship and gotten rid of most everybody who helped start, either they left of their own volition or he got rid of the people who started the MCU. How many people out there think Kevin Feige started Marvel Studios? Because he did. Because he didn't. He was just a producer. In the same report detailing Secret Invasion's behind-the-scenes drama, Marvel claims to have finally recognized these problems. Yeah, sure. In addition to scrapping and redoing Daredevil Born Again, which is a huge embarrassment, and they threw the writers under the bus, and it was like very un-Kevin Feige-like, who didn't like to air his dirty laundry unless it's his ass on the line. Okay? Kevin Feige's a Hollywood producer. There are no nice Hollywood producers. Okay? There just aren't. They don't exist. You can't be nice. The way the culture is set up in Hollywood, you can't be nice.
Yeah, I think you need an asshole to get things done sometimes. Sure. You need people to be tough. I think part of the problem and the reason we are where we are now is people listening to morons. This is true of both Lucasfilm and Star Wars and where Star Wars is. And no one has the balls to stand up to morons that are making their way into the workplace. That's the way I see it anyways, is a lack of leadership at the top. It used to be that college kids would come in and they would kind of like be filled with bravado of like, I'm going to change things. It's like, no, this is how things are. And then they kind of settle in.
Well, they found a way to be manipulative. They're like, oh,
yes,
he just gave me a hug. Me too. Jonathan Lasseter, you know, when you're in a creative environment and you're all walking on eggshells all the time, and you're just telling people what you want to hear. This is why we get so much shit. But Kevin Feige is famously passive aggressive. So he's not going to yell at you.
Right.
He's the kind of guy, everything's fine. We're not doing this. Yes, Secret Invasion was a huge disappointment and clearly a frustrating experience for its creatives and crew. But if it accomplished anything good for fans and the MCU brand, at least it proved to the powers to be what needs to change. Well, because they haven't been listening to fans. They plug their ears. The real question is whether these adjustments will come too late or how the MCU will incorporate the subpar series of the new vision. They're going to have to reboot, which is in of itself a failure. That's a failure because you never should reboot Marvel. You can reboot DC. It's in their brand. But you can't reboot Marvel.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.
Hey, if you like what we do here at Nerdrotic Daily, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you could do that with your favorite YouTuber as well, I'm sure they would appreciate it as much as I do.